Hey guys, so welcome to another beautiful episode of the Leadership Podcast with me, Stephen Akintayo. And today, I have a fantastic person in the house. He's a pastor, but he's a key entrepreneur. He's into educational consulting and several other business interests. And today, we're going to be looking at leadership issues from church members to pastors to, of course, education, which is his forte, and several other issues. But ladies and gentlemen, meet, will I say doctor or pastor, Akin Akinpelumi.
Akin is fine. Good to be here.
Which one do you prefer?
All of them.
All of them.
Good to be here, Dr. Stephen.
Thank you so much for coming. It's good to have you. I will say that you've been around. And one of the things that I admire about you is your ability to network. You are a master networker. How did that part of you emerge? Let me start there.
Wow. Networking.
Yes. Because you happen to know everybody, right?
Somebody popular actually said to me on the phone, he said, who Pastor Akin does not exist. You can tell who exactly said that with those lines, but I really wish. So for me, I believe in the principle of systems thinking called interconnectedness. I believe that every human being, we're connected. You're connected with what is animate and what is inanimate. And if you think systems, you will know that there's a connection with every human being. So I am very cautious of that every day, anywhere I am, whatever I'm doing. I can even feel bad that I have not had a connection in 10 to 20 minutes. And that's how bad it is with me. So I'll give you an example. One day I was going to Abia State, and I went through Owerri Airport, Sambak Airport precisely. So I sat down next to a man who was he just sat down next to me. And we sat down together. And the first thing I said is, good morning, sir. You look so good. I said, oh, good morning. And that's just me, because most times it starts with voice actuation. The energy begins to bubble, the interconnectedness. Then the man brings out the newspaper and he begins to read the newspaper, and he was going to talk to me for 30 minutes. And I didn't come to fly to sleep. I didn't come to read. I wanted to network. I didn't come to take the juice or the toast bread inside the cabin. I just came to network. And this guy wasn't going to talk to me. For 30 minutes, I felt like there's something wrong. Wow. There's something wrong with that energy that morning. It was 6 a.m. flight, and 5 minutes to the end of the flight, they just announced that we're going down. And the man said, oh, I'm sorry, you wanted to talk to me, but I'm very busy. I said, it's okay. He said, I was reading about myself in the newspaper. Reading about yourself. Then I said, okay, that means I wasn't wrong, because there's interconnectedness. Who were you? And as we started talking, it was time to alight the flight, and the aircraft rather. And as he was going down, I said, can I help you with your suitcase? He was shocked, because that's another tool of networking. He was really shocked. Said, nobody has ever told me that in the first class cabin before. Wow. Then I helped him. As we got downstairs, I saw 4 police officers walking towards me. I was scared. So let me take you to another scene now. Forgetting about this. That time in my life, I just lost all I had in the forex market, in the Nigerian stock market. Wow. I've lost all I worked for and the monies of 20 investors. Wow. So I was almost walking dead, and everything I knew and everyone I knew, they were all threatening me at that time. Wow. So if I see military men, I'm scared, including Boy Scouts. I can't do anything to me. It becomes traumatic to me. And the 4 police officers were walking towards me. I said, wow, you could have picked me up in my house, picked me up on my street, picked me up somewhere, not at the airport, not even when I'm trying to, and suddenly when the guys came, they saluted me. Then, when they saluted me, the game changed. I maintained my steez back. Maximum composure. I said, you can't come and arrest me and be saluting me. I began to laugh again. And suddenly it dawned on me that I was being stupid. It wasn't me that they were saluting. They were saluting the man that was by my side. And they took the bags from me. And the guy gave me his card. I went to to my luggage room. And while I was waiting for my stuff to come out, I opened it. The name I saw on it was Yemi Osibajo. Wow. Before he became Attorney General of Lagos, wow. Before he became the Vice President of Lagos, wow. Before he became the President Nigeria never had. Wow. So it means that potentially you walk energy is so powerful that you walk in the midst of people that if you are not connected to that reason, you wouldn't know what you have missed potentially. And that's how networking is part of my life. That I believe in interconnectedness very strongly.
But how did you build that culture of interconnectedness? Because I'm curious. How and at what point did you see that this is something important?
Maybe it was part of my journey. So I went through a time in my life where it was pretty difficult for me. And every time I needed to rise, I noticed that I needed a man. You see, God is there. God is powerful. But God hides his blessings in men.
Come on.
So I say that the second greatest miracle after salvation is a miracle of relationships.
Wow.
People even spend time praying. And when you are done praying, the intelligence you gather from the place of prayer is that God leads you to say, this is where, this is who. It's not the euphoria that you prayed. The intelligence you brought out of it, God hides it in relationships. So you can pray all your life and you have a bad attitude. And you just keep asking yourself, you keep praying. Of course, we're very religious people. We love to pray, but you don't get the breakthroughs. So for me, I went through a real downtime. So growing up was really difficult. It was really difficult for me. I mean, my father used to be rich. Then used to is the word. And so in the 80s, my father, things happened. He grew up from being a cleaner. He entered Nigerian boroughs as a cleaner and rose to become a director at Nigerian boroughs.
Wow.
And right before our eyes, we saw our father go down. So we're back to square one. This was 1989, 1990. Let me cut the long story short. We hit the road back and we began to hawk. I hawked 16 things. Every time I needed help, nobody wanted to help me.
Wow.
So I had to struggle through life. I hawked 60. So if you put a tray on my head, without my hands holding it, the tray is going to stand straight for 2 hours.
Jesus.
Mastery.
Up to now.
Mastery. I tried it 2 weeks ago when I was doing an interview. I did it 2 weeks ago for an interview.
Really?
I tell you, it's going to stand straight. You know, people don't believe it, because they don't know we go through hell. We just come out smelling like heaven. People don't know that. I sold ice water.
Wow.
That 50 kobo ice water on the road. I mean, because nobody was going to help me. I sold pure water. After ice water, the sachet water came out that we call pure water in Nigeria here. I graduated, made money, started selling soft drinks. I sold Tandy, Limca, Gold Spot, Green Sand, all the Dr. Pepper
Gen Z,
product.
you don't know this. Don't worry.
I bet you
if you are Gen Z, you don't know this. Don't bother.
No, they should not Gold Spot. You guys should not Gold Spot. Not so bad. I sold that. I went to sell food. I sold firewood, I sold egg, I sold puff, I sold buns. I sold anything. I grinded pepper. I can still fix the machine of a grinder till date very well. I knew where the bolts are, the nuts are, and all of that. In the midst of that, and this is where this happened to me. There was a man who saw me at Nigerian Port Authority one day. He said, "I like you. You are educated. Why are you selling on the road?" I can't remember what I said to him exactly, but what I would have said would have sounded like life happened. And the man said, "Wow, I like you. I want to help you." So the man said, "See me tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. So I got there 9 a.m. because of what use was my life. If somebody says, "Come here 10 a.m., I can't be there 9 a.m. What's the use of my destiny? So I got there 9 a.m. and the man came 11. And the man was now apologizing to me. I had to apologize to him that he probably has something to do with his life, that he had to leave it to come out. And the guy said, I was thinking it was a breakthrough. The guy took me to a woman selling food. And my induction, what I heard was like, you don't come. Now him be that, you go feed Duam. I was like, I'm Isaac and Abraham on the mountains of Moriah, that I could see everything available, but I did not see the animal we're about to slaughter for the sacrifice. So Isaac, we got to ask the father, who are we killing here? So I knew that these guys were talking about me. Like I've come to resume work there. And then they give me a Maggie Cube cover, yellow in color. That was my induction process. And my orientation, and my JD was to wash the plate, serve the food, go pick up money by 4 p.m. and to get home with 10 naira.
What year was this?
This was 1996. 1996.
Jesus.
So every time there was no man, I said to myself, I would not just find a man, I also want to be the man.
Come on.
And I said, God, whatever it would take, I know that the heart of the kings are in your hand. There's nobody I cannot be interconnected to on the earth. I know that cautiousness came. Then, of course, some professional helps also came around that area, and I began to network.
Wow. Interesting. Interesting. I like this story because it resonates with me. I mean,
I know.
I've done some hawking too, but my tray can't stay in my head for 2 hours. So. But you went to Covenant University.
Yes, after many attempts of other universities. That was the university that finally graduated me.
So how were you able to afford that?
That was a big deal. I got cell biology genetics in University of Lagos. I wasn't enjoying what I was doing.
Okay.
My father really wanted me to do medicine.
Okay.
But Covenant University opened up. My brother said one day that, there's a new university. Do you want to try it? Instead of sitting down home after writing JAM for like 5 times.
Was this, so you guys were the first set?
No, I wasn't even second. I was even the second or third. Something.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't the first. I missed the first one. When he was telling me, I was still asking, can we still pay for that? Can we do that?
Yes.
No, I couldn't. And so when he told me that, one day I just went to pray in Kenaland. And I just felt a sense of connection also to that ground, that God wanted me to come there, but I couldn't tell. Wow. But I saw a sense of connection. Were you attending
Winners that time?
No, I wasn't. But I was a fan of Bishop.
Oh, okay.
So I listened to all his tapes. I have all his tapes that I listened to. Then one day I went to see a girl in Covenant University.
Okay.
Just to chat out some babes, And when I was done, when I was done, I was about to enter the shuttle to hit the road.
Yeah.
As I entered the shuttle, I had 2 girls saying that tomorrow is the final exam. Tomorrow is the final exam.
Wow.
Suddenly it dawned on me on my like, what? Which exam are they talking about? Do you know I came down from that shuttle? I went to meet the lady. One of them is called Adiola. I can't remember the second one. I said, I heard you talk about an admission process, an exam holding tomorrow. The girl said to me, did we call you to this matter? I said, I'm sorry. I said, but something just woke up inside of me. The girl said, it's the Covenant University exam and the final exam is tomorrow. That they have done this is supplementary or something. That's fine. I said, final. Then suddenly it dawned on me that God wanted me to come here because I got that euphoria of that interconnectedness again. I said, wow.
Were you a born again Christian?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Though we used to borrow it and return our lives back. But I was God conscious.
Yes.
Wow. I didn't enter the shuttle again. I asked the girl, tell me where the admission office is. I went to the admission office, true life story. The day Bishop Wedepo hears this story, he's going to sack some people on there. I went there. I went to the admission office. I said, sir, I need an admission. I want to buy admission form. He said, for which exam? I said, tomorrow's exam. He said, is this LASU? He said, the pride that they have. Is this
exactly.
He said, the exam is tomorrow. And there's no amount of money you can bring here. This place is a no-nonsense place. The guy just started talking. Yeah. And I said, sir, can you help me? The man said, what are you talking about? At the time, I begged him for the 3rd time. He said, gentleman, get up. Get out. I was still sluggish about it. I said, I'm going to call the securities on you. So I walked away. As I walked away, I went into the library in that college. I saw a woman who was pregnant. I went to meet the woman. I said, I have this issue. I want to buy a form. I heard the exam is tomorrow.
Yeah.
The woman said, what's my business with form? I said, I just feel you can help me. The woman said, please stay outside. When it was time to close, the woman said, I'm closing now. Please take your bags and leave this place. I said, you can still help me. Do you know the woman went to the admission office after she closed? I was still outside. Came back and said, gentlemen, follow me. I'll get you a form. I'm telling you, real life story.
Wow.
They said I should pay money for the form. I don't even have. Because I didn't leave my house to come and buy form. I said, to chat, babe.
Wow.
I probably had like 200 naira to return back to Lagos or something.
Wow.
I took the form home, filled the form, submitted the morning of the exam. Wow. Sat down for the exam, passed the exam.
Wow.
They now said I should come and pay school fees. In my life, I mean, I've not
Exactly. That's why I'm saying
I've never heard of acceptance fee of 100,000 naira.
Yeah, exactly.
As at that time. So with 100,000, University of Lagos, you can graduate from year 1 to year 4.
5 years.
Oh yes.
Plus hostel.
They now told me the acceptance fee is not refundable. Say, where will I even see acceptance fee? Forgetting about the school fees. You know, and God just helped me one day. A brother of mine just called me after many weeks that the admission had even gone down and said that, I did a deal and I have 100,000 for you. He said, God said I should give you. I said, God said you should give me. I said, since when did he tell you? He told me like 2 weeks ago. I said, wow. And that was the day the store closed. Wow. So I picked up the money. I went to all the banks. They didn't collect it. They said the admission had closed. Wow. I went to the microfinance bank in Canada.
Yes.
I said to them, I want to pay school. They said, no, my cohort had closed. I shouted at the cashier. I used to listen to men like George Adegboye. You know, the Walking Bible.
Yes.
I listen to Bishop Boyedekbo.
Yeah.
I'm a very gentle person. but at certain times, I come out like a lion. And the woman said, why am I shouting? I shook the table. That's my 50th year.
Jesus.
So I've written jam 5 or 6 times.
Wow.
They're telling me I should stay under 1 year. The manager came out. He said, gentleman, you're causing trouble. Follow me to my office. I followed him. He said, what's the price? I want to pay. He said, they said you can't pay, so go leave this place. I stood up. I said, sir, respectfully, I can get you away from this seat by way of sickness and disease, or take the seat away from you by death or sack letter. I said, sir, choose one. The man jacked up on the seat. Nobody has ever spoken to him like that before. I said, hold on. He walked out of the office. He came back. I don't know what happened. He collected my acceptance fee. That's how I got my admission. Let me stop there.
Hey! Interesting. Just can't stop laughing on this one. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, you finished Covenant.
Yeah, I finished Covenant.
Have you always known you were a pastor while you were in Covenant?
I mean, from being a child, I mean, I've been used to church stuff. But when I was in Covenant, I was a mentor to a lot of people. I mentored, I grew a lot of people. I mean, I say this respectfully with all sense of humility. I'm not sure anybody that graduated from that place that was not connected to me doing well at all levels. You know, and but I wasn't going to pastor.
Okay.
I was going to run just a ministry where I can bring cosmopolitan Christians once in a month. Let's teach the word of God for many hours. Then I'm going to be in the corporate. I love corporate. Yeah. I believe I'm called to the corporate.
You love corporate.
You know, so I love corporate. Yeah. So, and most of the relationships I have are even with the corporate people, you know. And, but somehow, when I went to see Bishop Boyedekbo, I mean, he said to me that I used to fooling around, you know, those words. I mean, I still did not budge. You know, one day I went to just spend some time in Funke, Bishop Adejumo and Funke Adejumo's house in Akure, in the White House. So at the guest house, I was just finishing my fast, you know, and that's when I received that call again, and God said to me that, I needed to do this. I said, God, you have too many churches. It won't make sense for me to increase the nuisance value of the church. You know, and he said to me, no, if there's no reason, I'm not going to send you there. So you could do your quota and give me my marching order. And that's how I found myself in the ministry.
Wow. I mean, looking at what ministry is, and ministry now, I'm talking about ministry, and the new dimension of what we're seeing with ministers, where there's so much competition, right? And there are things that, thank God, I mean, you can relate to this. There are things that even those of us in corporate don't do. Right. For example, I've had people who run successful real estate company today who at some point were either my staff or at some point were people I pay for one consultancy or the other. And there are some who don't even acknowledge the role I play. Right. I'm never going to come on a podcast and mention name and say, I taught this person business, I taught that person business. I mean, and then you see pastors go that down and there's just no fruit of the Spirit. There's just all manner of pettiness. It was me that made this person this. I mean, you're not God. Right? And these are things that we don't even do in the corporate space, right? And the corporate space is open. You can fight dirty competition. You can do, but people don't even do that. And so in places where you expect it to be really, really sane, and then you see all bad of Nollywood drama. What's going on? Let me ask you. What's going on?
I should ask you also, Dr. Stephen, what do you think is going on?
I don't know.
Body of Christ, what is going on?
No, but these are your colleagues. Senior or junior colleagues.
But you also know that you are a pastor. And you've pastored for many years, so they are your ex-colleagues too.
No, but what's going on? I'm really shocked.
Let me just answer that question this way, that people need to get busy. That's all I need to say.
Get busy.
People need to get busy. I think that if your table is not full, that's when you have so much time for some frivolous things and all of that. People should get busy with their lives. Great people don't discuss people.
True.
To discuss issues. So you have to bring yourself down to that level. And it's also an identity problem to begin to bring yourself down to such level. I just think that everybody get busy. When you get busy, see, whatever you have done or whatever you are doing, see, there's a way the world plays. It will come to bear one day. So just get busy. That's the best way I can explain that.
Yeah, so thank you for the admonition. Get busy. But the impact of that, right? What's going on right now? People are confused. Not everybody know God for themselves the way some of us have had to work with God. And so, you can't just come now and confuse me with anything.
Yeah. Right?
Because I've known God for myself. Yeah. But not a lot of people are in that situation, and we're in a populist movement. So social media is having greater influence on people more. From your own perspective, what can be done to salvage? Because this is, I did an article about this, and I said, look, when I read the God's General, this was, this was, I think, almost over 15 years, 20-something years ago. And I saw that what killed some of those revivals in that book, God's General, wasn't from outside. It was an implosion, right? It was amongst themselves. There was strife, and that's how the move of God started dying. And I fear that the same thing is about to happen to us in Nigeria. There's great move of God. We're seeing people literally sell out stadiums, for God, right? Massive move, healings and all of that. But even with those people, and I'm not even talking about people who go on blogs, but even amongst those people, some you can't bring, just like they do with Davido and Burna Boy, top 3 and top 5. Some you can't bring the same ministers to speak at the same conference. Some will tell you, even if they will come, you put them on a separate day. Man of God. Yeah. What can we do? And I mean it, because this is important. What can we do?
So I like the fabric of the question that you're raising. I think that, first of all, we should be good students of revival. And so revival is cyclical, and revival is also systemic.
True.
And like you said, you inferred from God's generals that there was an implosion. One of the things that will affect the move of God, and which has always affected the move of God, number one is bitterness.
True.
Bitterness. You see, I believe that it's a charisma, your gift, is different from character.
Come on. Now let's go there.
And so people need to we need to become matured to to be able to understand perspective. You can see somebody who is doing well with charisma, with gift. It's just a gift.
It's just a gift.
And honestly,
and it's gift overrated.
And the gift of God, they are without repentance.
Exactly.
So you really don't need to. God can give anybody.
Exactly. It's not special to you.
But consistency of character is what people should look at.
Yeah, and that's what keeps you longer.
So when people want to choose mentors now, they want to look for people who are popular, look for people who are in vogue, the mainstream, and it's not supposed to be, as it were. Who is the mentor to Pastor Akin Akinpelumi? The man cannot even speak English. And so it tells you that it's not even in all of those things. But let me get back. Bitterness is one thing we need to work on. We always bitter with ourselves. We always want it has to be us. It has to be us. For some, it's competition. Competition. You want to compete with the other person. Once you see one you're doing one thing, you want to do the same thing. You want to do the same thing. So people even get indebted because they just want to show off that they are, and these things, they come to kill what you call revival. I would say that every man of God, everyone called, should understand the area of their calling. Because it's cyclical. The revival will start with a strong prayer storm, which is what we are seeing now. A prayer revival everywhere. The cities will be shaken, online we're shaking. There was never a time like this. Like in the past 5 years, you wake up in the morning, it's like a desert. Where do you want to pray from? You want to pray from here, pray from there. But after that, another cycle will come.
Absolutely.
And the circle is now going to be for the teachers.
Yes.
Where you're going to harvest all the works that have been done.
I love that you're saying this.
All the guys in prayers,
So everybody's not cyclical. Angry. Your time will come.
It's cyclical. It's cyclical. So you don't have to start doing the same thing everybody's doing. So you understand your place and wait for your time, as it were. So I would say that those things, and amongst other things, will kill revival. I think that...
what can we do?
What can we do?
Because I see these things creeping into the members as well, right? In fact, this morning I had a conversation with, in our organization, there are over 100 employees, but there are some people you just see, they have a sign of great potential, right? I remember this one was maybe a copper, and I just noticed that she really has a great potential. Told her, let them transfer her to the headquarters, and she was working on I think my wife's office or something. And something got to my attention, and she's a leader in church. And they corrected her on something, and the next thing was to send in resignation. In fact, she was the one speaking before you came. I said, if this happened with somebody who is not a Christian, I get it. It's okay. But you're a Christian. Right, and so you understand the place of correction. If I had to ask, I said, unfortunately, she's a leader in church. I said, what are they teaching you guys in church now? Because the background I had, in church, is persecution. You endure, and you carry with a badge of honor.
Yeah.
That I went through this, I was corrected for this, I was sanctioned for this, and I went through it, I stood my ground, I endured the process, and I didn't quit.
Yeah.
So it's creepy. My fear and my worry is that these things will not get to men, because everybody will not feel it's okay.
Yeah.
We all can start fighting each other, and it just kills what exactly is being a Christian. Or is it really?
Dr. Stephen, you see, what you are saying is quite burdensome.
Yeah, it is.
When doctors from different states, for example, who have never met themselves before, they can meet in the theater room for the first time, and they can carry out a successful,
absolutely,
what do you call it, operation without a fight.
Yes.
You know why? Because they were all taught with the same curriculum. If you meet a Christian here, and you meet a Christian somewhere else, you're wondering, are we reading the same Bible?
Now I get you.
You see it? So you need to now look at what is the context, what's the curriculum that we are being fed with.
Yeah.
Number 2, discipleship.
Yeah, come on.
Discipleship is missing in the body. So I think we should get back to the place of discipleship, and we should get back to teaching the right things. And this also helps me to get back to how did you even become a pastor? Because if you're a pastor who missed curriculum and you graduated on your own terms, and you now start a church and you didn't have the right curriculum, you can see the kind of people you're going to raise.
I want to ask you this question because thank God you went to Covenant University, it's a Christian school. People have this argument of
it's a missionary school.
It's a missionary school. The school fees church members can't afford. And you are also an educational consultant, so you're in the best position to answer the question of, is the accusation legit that church missionary schools are supposed to maybe free because it was tithe and offering of members, they used to build it and all that? Of course, I know the answer, but I want to hear from you.
I think it depends on the school of thought that people are used to.
Yeah.
So if you're coming from a conservative school of thought, it's just logical and it makes sense to say that, if you use the tithe and offering money to build a school, the people who are members of the church should be able to attend the schools for free.
Yes.
Now you begin to ask yourself at the beginning, when you set out, what kind of schools did you determine? Did you conceive to set out?
Yeah.
Number 2 is this. There's a perspective that says that though it's the monies given to the church, and if God gives me this money, it is my own duty to ensure that these monies are multiplied to becoming a blessing to generation. See, there's a kind of help you can do to people that once you do that help, you will not have capacity to help them again. And people don't understand that place of investment. If I have $20,000 and I give, and all I have is $20,000, and I give someone $20,000 because the person is in need. Do you know that now you can clap for me, I've given you $20,000, but tomorrow I can't even afford a meal again. So I have killed my capacity to be able to even help other people who would need, and people always have needs. See, if I have the $20,000, do you know, and you have a $20,000 need, I would go and invest the $20,000. I can call you back after 8 months and one year and say, I'm sorry, and say, I couldn't give you that time, but forgive me. Take this $5,000, take this $10,000. I'm giving you from my fruits. That no matter what I give you, it will never affect my capacity to produce and help other people. And people must understand that, okay, when people set out to do things, what was their vision? What were the clear terms that they had? You see, so my children, so my child is about to get into coroner school, and coroner school for a child is 3-point-something million.
I know.
3-point-something million. How much do they pay in Covenant University?
Exactly.
1 million naira.
Exactly.
And you're shouting. My child in year 4, year 5, paying 3-point-something million. So they pay 1 million naira there. 24 hours electricity, good teachers, good lecturers, good facility, good visionary place, and all of you is too cheap. You see, the poor will never leave us. We must understand that. Do we need to give out more scholarships? Yes, we should begin to talk about
Does
that.
Covenant University give scholarships?
Oh, they do. They do hundreds of scholarships.
To church members.
To church members. Bishop Wedekpo has over 600 people yearly that he puts on scholarship. And that's a lot of money, as it were. So you must understand, what exactly do you want? I think we should begin to ask the right questions. I mean, how many people have given us good free schools and they have maintained great standards?
True. I love that.
I live that.
I love that. Again, I know the answers, but because you went to Covenant University, it was good to hear this from somebody who went to Covenant University. Right? Because
it wasn't easy paying. It was not easy paying.
Yeah. Because my argument is that we need to hear, I think Covenant University, and if the leadership are watching, there's a need to have a press conference around this. People who have gotten scholarship, because I know this for a fact. In fact, my younger brother, our last born, went to university 5 years under Bishop Wedekpo scholarship for 5 years and graduated. Right? Did not pay a dime, except of course we had to pay upkeeps and all of that. But my point is that these things are not being communicated.
Yeah.
Right. And because they are not communicated, you can't be angry that people are misinformed and people are having those perceptions and they are constantly carrying their misinformation and passing on to other people too. And say, their church members can't afford it. Well, I mean, I'm a church member. My brother got scholarship. And I know several other church members who were able to access scholarship in winners.
Yeah.
And I've argued over time, said, it's the members who will have protested, really, if they feel they are being shortchanged. You cannot be drinking Panadol for somebody else's headache.
Yeah.
Right? And I see so much of this going on social media. You are not in the church. You are not in the system. You don't understand the structures in the system. And then you want to go every day. But again, I would say the institutions need to understand the generation we're in.
Yeah.
It's a generation that has questions. And there is a decent level of answers you need to give. I mean, you do annual events, just at the press conference, let people like you come talk and say, these are our experiences in the school. I know somebody close to me who had issues paying school fees and was able to get the balance from, even this is not even a depot zone, another pool of support system within the covenants, to pay the balance of the tuition.
The alumni system.
Yes, I think our own was alumni.
The alumni
system.
group, they have their scholarships, even students. Call their parents to help them pay for their friends' fees.
Yeah.
You see, I won't blame the people who talk. Number one, they don't understand the generation that we are in.
Yeah.
I will blame the church or this institution.
I
We
agree.
don't tell our stories.
That's the point.
We wink in the dark.
That's the point.
We do so much, we don't tell our stories.
And then you say, no, God doesn't want your left hand to know what your right hand is doing. Continue.
If you cannot tell the proper narrative, people will tell the narrative on your behalf. Everything in this world is called storytelling.
Exactly.
Storytelling is the most powerful thing. And once you cannot counter a campaign that is going on and you leave it to God, you have made a mess of yourself. We must learn to tell our stories. The church, the institutions must learn to get their creatives, get their press guys, get people to be able to sell a good story. We have done so much. The Church of Jesus has done so much, but nobody knows. We are winking in the dark and we feel that it is unto God. God is the one that looks at the heart. Man looks at what you have done at other parents.
One of the things I was sharing with, because we had this conversation last week in the US, and these 3 women were also, complaining, all this church, they're all scam, it's all business. And I asked her, I said, all these universities in the US, are you aware they are church founded?
I tell you.
All
the Ivy League schools.
She said, I said, go do your research. I said, how expensive are they?
Harvard.
Yeah, exactly.
Princeton.
Harvard is over $150,000. Dollars. And they were founded, most of these schools were founded by church. So I said, how much is still the school fees?
Lagos Business School was the seminary for Catholics.
Yes, I know. I said because education is expensive. And for you to maintain standard...
If it's too expensive, try...
Exactly. To maintain certain standard. Some people still don't know that Covenant University is still being subsidized
super cheap
by the church.
Super cheap.
That the tuition fee is not enough to run it the way it should be run.
Highly subsidized. Look, there are primary schools in this nation, they are more expensive than those universities.
Yeah, my children's school fees is over 4 million.
Can you imagine?
And
there's a school now,
primary school,
that my friend is working on. They just finished. It's Charterhouse in Aja.
I heard the story. I saw the picture.
You know how much they're paying per year?
How much?
$20,000.
Jesus.
$20,000 Charterhouse.
I heard so. I saw the 3D. I
know that your children should go there soon. $20,000. It's for the CEOs. It's for the high and the mighty. Yes, for people like us and our children there. But I went there. I went there on a courtesy visit. I went to John Todd. John Todd took me around. I looked at it. It's worth it.
I like to
If you think education is expensive, try ignorance.
Yeah. But as an educational consultant, what is missing with our government schools? Because, the reason why churches and other private sectors are having to come in, it's probably because others are not doing their job in terms of the government schools are substandard. And some people will argue that maybe it's government people who are intentionally making the public schools go down so that their own private schools can sell.
The problem of education in Nigeria is quite, it has eaten deep into the fabrics of the system. That it's not black and white again. I could sit down and give you over 20 reasons why I made that statement. Number one, I'll start with the teachers. The teachers that you have in the system, they're teachers by circumstance. They did not become teachers by choice. How did they become teachers by circumstance? Maybe they wrote JAMB and they did not get the course they wanted. They gave them biology education. They gave them English education. And because of that, they entered into that depression mode. And all they could do with that is to get back into the classroom and teach. And they used that annoyance upon the children.
Wow.
Teachers by circumstance? What about teachers who are not well paid?
Yeah, that's that one.
And they have businesses at home. When I was in the primary school, my teacher during the break would give us vegetable leaves to be cutting out. Yes, I tell you, or the egusi, whatever, the melon, to break it down. Because she has business, she's good. How much is she being paid?
Wow.
I went to a Baptist primary school. Wow. How much is she being paid? So teachers are not well catered for. So why would I be teaching you to prosper when my children can't go to school? I can't pay my own children's PTA and you want to succeed under me?
You consult for state governments. What are you telling them about these issues?
I mean, we say all these things every time.
Yeah.
We say all these things. In the budget of every state or every nation, and by the benchmark, community benchmark, international benchmark, education is supposed to have the highest. We do not reach the bar in Nigeria. We do not reach the bar in our states. That tells us that we're not ready. We're not ready. There are no infrastructures. The private schools who are helping out, because the public schools cannot cater for all schools, because we don't have the infrastructure. If I give you data of the number of public schools that we have, you ask yourself, with the population, how would they have handled it? Now, private schools evolve. Now they're killing them with taxes. How can a private school be paying 16 taxes?
Really?
Now, many private, and I'm telling you, in the next 10 years, private schools are going to pack up more.
Wow.
So so you now go to the question of curriculum. Wow. What are we teaching these kids? We're using curriculum obsolete of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. You can go to you say you did an MBA university or one university in Nigeria and you came out and you think you did an MBA. That's not an MBA. Your brain is obsolete. You were taught with the curriculum that has expired 20 years ago. You're just carrying expired certificate up and down.
Jesus.
So, I mean, with all due respect to every problem, I'm going to be a professor by next year. I mean, so with all due respect to our lecturers and all of that, we have not done well. They have even stopped professing. The last time a professor professed that he wrote a paper is 10 years ago, 20 years. You're not even current.
Wow.
It's a big shame. The educational system needs to be touched again, and we need to look at it again as a nation.
Who needs to do something?
We have not put the right people there. The government are not putting the right people there. They're not putting experienced people there. They're putting people into education out of emotions. They're putting them out of sentiments as a payback for helping their career to get where they are. I mean, you're not putting the right people at the right place. What are they going to do? Somebody who knows nothing about education, administering education for a country or a state, what do you expect as the outcome? It's called patterns and mental models. Mental models will always produce the outcome that you feed into the system.
Wow. So now churches trying to supplement with church schools and same thing with healthcare. We have in church hospitals. What should all these private sectors be looking out for? What is also missing with the private sector that is trying to supplement what government is doing?
Private sector, I mean, so for them, they have their CSR and they're just trying to help. So for all, I think, I would say that we should encourage them.
Okay.
Encourage them to do more. See to it that they are actually carrying out their CSR operations regularly. The taxes are being paid. to ensure that these things can also help.
I don't need to have 16 taxes.
You don't need 16 taxes. Just encourage them. 2 or 3 is fine. 2 or 3 is fine. I mean, so I just think that the private sectors they're here to help, and just give them an environment that will help them to do that.
Try.
Yeah, that's right.
My last question to you is it important, and I'm saying this so you can speak to your colleagues and either senior or junior, is it important for pastors to be more, I mean, we know if you're trying to say you want to, we know our fathers have done their bit. I always argue that the Gio was a lecturer. Yeah. Bishop Oyedepo had a job before he started ministry. And particularly for young ministers, is it important for the second generation, after them that the Geos, Bishop Oyedepo said, the next set, because they are more relatable, can they begin to be more open to these younger pastors to say, hey, it's okay to get a job. Yeah. It's okay to have a business on the side. Can people become more transparent to say, yes, I'm your pastor, but I have some businesses or investments, so that more people get into ministry don't just feel God called me full time.
Are you trying to say the fathers are not transparent?
No, my argument is that their generation as to information is different. It's not even.
I was actually pulling your legs.
I know. You won't put me to that. But I think it's a generational thing. Yeah. Their generation isn't as transparent. Like, I'm not going to be expecting a press conference from Daddy Gio or from Oyedepo. Yeah. We've passed that level. But there are certain other people after them, right, who understand the, and I tell people this thing is a faces. There are certain Goliath your father needs to fight. Yeah. And there are some that is for your generation to fight. Yeah. And if you don't fight them and you want to keep saying, but my father didn't do it, something is wrong there. Yeah. Because I feel that it's because some people also are not coming out to balance things. That's why the extreme guy on this side is trending. Because what you see is 2 extremes, right? Yeah. Now, there are certain people who can come to the middle and give a more balanced view on issues. Right? But everybody say also, I'm a full-time pastor, I'm ordained, I don't do anything. No, come on. We know you are investing in real estate. We know you are investing in... Once in a while, let church members know that yes, I'm your pastor and I do this most times, but I have other things I do. So please, even if you hear God's call tomorrow, don't throw away what provides for you and your family. And how do we balance these things?
Let me honestly appreciate them. There are some men who have been very true to themselves.
But they are like 0.
Someone like Dr. Sam and
0 points.
Will teach you entrepreneurship.
You and I know that 0 point.
Still 0 point.
0.01.
Olumide Emmanuel will teach his people.
0.01.
Pastor Bodimade will teach his people.
Pastor, we invite those who are professionals.
So you should understand what he's trying to do without saying it straight.
I will argue that I love Pastor Imade's strategy, because there are certain pastors who might not necessarily start a business, right? And at least being able to bring professionals to come teach the members and help the members, I love that. But the ones that I'm more bothered about, those who are just silent on it. Even the day that is business breakthrough, is still going to be, prophets and, and fasting and sow seed. And there's nothing practically teaching people about how to balance their lives.
See, honest, let me say it as it is. I'll say it in Yoruba. What I feel is that there's this proverb. It's not from the Bible. It's a proverb that Ikoti agbaba fi jo modelo. Akin fi hàn. Taba fi hàn. Ani mule lọ́wọ́. Taba mule lọ́wọ́. Ani sọ tó ṣe ń lò fún. Tó bá mọ tó ṣe ń lò. Ani sọ ẹ̀rọ ẹ̀ fún.
You need to interpret it in English.
You need to interpret it.
It means that what the secret of elders, right? We do not share with children.
Yeah.
If we share with them, we do not help them to understand the usage.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If we help them understand the usage, we do not make sure they understand the side effects. Right?
You did well. You did well. You did well. You did well. You did well.
Okay. How is that relevant to this?
As Africans, we are naturally power brokers.
I see.
Africans are natural power brokers.
Yeah.
We feel powerful when we hold power, when we hold information. Some Africans.
But how do we let them know that season has expired?
Good, because you have more power when you release power.
Exactly.
When you release
how do we let them know that season has expired?
You know the people I pity, the people who follow those people who are not using their head. There's full time, FULL, and there's FOOL.
Yeah.
You know, somebody came to meet me. You're pastoring 20 people for 7 years.
Yeah.
You can't pay your rent.
Exactly.
And
your children are struggling.
Me to pray for him.
Yeah.
I said, I don't need to pray for you.
God call me. God call me.
Get a job and be pastoring together. So some that can do it. Maybe you have some investment somewhere and you're now beautiful. You need to use your brains. Open yourself up to entrepreneurship. How do you even multiply what God has given you in the ministry? Let's assume you're doing well in ministry. How do you multiply it?
But do you think the reason why pastors don't want the message of entrepreneurship and investment to go mainstream in church is because it's not sweet? And sometimes it sounds like it's
Sounds worldly.
what they teach.
It sounds worldly. And it's because, you see, how you interpret the Bible is very important. Dr. Stephen, those capable of transferring wisdom to you, they are capable of transferring nonsense to you.
Errors.
Yeah. You can read the Bible.
Coded in truth.
The Bible is not to be quoted. The Bible is to be coded. It's something God programmed in words. You can read the Bible and you will see strong entrepreneurship system in the Bible. You see strong corporate system in the Bible. Abraham was in full time.
That's my point.
Isaac was in full time.
That's my point.
Jacob was in full
Exactly.
time. Paul was in full time.
I'm happy we're having this conversation. I hope it goes viral.
In fact, when you did a book for pastors, I was very happy.
Yes,
I was
the
very
Billionaire
happy.
Habit for Pastors. I'm not sure I have it here. Because all our covenant fathers of faith were not full-time pastors or priests. They were full-time business people who loved God.
Real estate,
who served God. Who were standing for God.
Irrigation system.
So we need to go back to teach that message.
This is why the world, when they listen to us teach, they feel like we don't have answers to the problems of the world.
That's the point.
Because they see us as crap heads.
Exactly.
All you need, is prayer, fasting, and you cannot give practical solution to the problems of the society.
Jesus.
See, I've stood in places to speak. I've spoken in Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I've spoken in epoch-making events, and it's not because I was a pastor.
Exactly.
It was just because I have brains.
Exactly.
God gave you brain so that you can give him rest.
Well, thank you, sir, for coming. We will not end if we continue like this. Thank you for coming. And ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap on this this particular episode of the Leadership Podcast with me, Stephen Akintayo. I hope maybe one day we'll bring my guests. These are people for part 2. Love you. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Cheers.